Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Rutter and I am going to do a demonstration presentation about knitting. Knitting is very close to my heart because it has been handed down into the family through generations, and I am actually the only grandchild that took upon it out of 20 some grandchildren. To me, knitting is a form of art. It is a stress reducer and it is a craft just to fill my time. But here are some fun statistics about it. You can actually burn 55 calories in 30 minutes knitting. So that would be about 110 calories in an hour. 1/3 of the people between the ages of 20 to 35 actually knit. And then there is a world record held by London in 2012 in Royal Albert Hall. There were 3,083 people that knitted for 15 minutes straight. So what I want to do first is I want to show you the tools I use for knitting. The first is called the knitting needle that comes in many different forms. This is my first set of knitting needles. These are actually wooden. They're just the basic kind of knitting needles, and all knitting needles will actually have little heads on them. It gives better grip so that they won't fall off and your stitches won't fall off the knitting needle. The next set I have to show you are size 15s. These are plastic knitting needles. Again, we have like little heads on them to keep the stitches off, and it's plastic. So as you can hear, they're not very strong. My next set is a set I'm actually going to use. These are Boys. It's a very nice brand, very common, actually my favorite brand. These are metal, and what's very cool about the metal is that the stitches will smoothly go on and off, and I've never dropped a stitch with the metal ones, which is very awesome. The next thing I want to show you is actually a couple different tools that you will use in conjunction to knitting. You will actually use holders if you are knitting a afghan, or if you are knitting a blanket, or if you are knitting a sweater. This holds the stitches together but off the knitting needle so that you are not actually stitching those at the same time as the other stitches that you will need to stitch. And then there is also the crochet hook. Most people don't know that crochet hooks are also used in knitting. A crochet hook, what you can do is you can hide your extra yarn in your project, or you can hide a missed stitch, or whatever you need to hide. This is what you will get in and out of your stitches with. What I want to show you is my favorite project. This is called a dishcloth. This is the easiest thing that anybody will make. You use a simple little pattern with it. These patterns consist of different kind of letters and words. In the pattern you will see N1, which means knit one, or P1, which means purl one, which is the opposite of knitting. You will also see K2 together, which means knit two together. So you'll take two stitches and turn it into one. There you will see yarn over, which means without knitting the stitch, you'll actually yarn it over the needle. There's also slip stitchings where you literally will take one stitch and just slide it onto the next needle without stitching it. There are just many different things one would learn, but those are the basics. So the next thing I want to actually show you is going to be the different kinds of yarn you can use. Here's a lightweight yarn and a medium yarn. These yarns are more for sweaters, typically animal sweaters. You can use them for scarves, any really lightweight projects. So even like baby booties you could use with these. What this is that actually it's two kinds of yarn knotted together so that you get two different colors. This one's a medium one. This one's known for the dishcloths because it's very durable. Not many will use this for scarves, but you can use it for sweaters if you want, or just odd end projects. The most common thing that this can actually be used for is a baby hat, which lots of people in their spare time will actually knit hats for babies in the NICUs, which is a very needed thing nowadays. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the project and show you kind of how you need to knit. So you'll take that little packaging off, And then the first thing you need to do is actually find the piece of thread. Sometimes it will be right in the center of it. Other times you just have to look around and pull it. Now you don't want to undo the whole thing because you will get a knot, so you don't want to do that. So the first thing you want to do here is you're going to flip it right around the finger and hook it through. Hold on tight. Make a knot. You're going to put it on. Now this is considered one stitch. So I'm just going to make it real nice and simple. See how I do this? I'm just going to slide it around my finger. This is adding on stitches. Okay, this is how you start out knitting. Now once you have your few stitches that you want to start your project, you're going to put the needle from your right hand to your left hand. So you're just going to flop it over just like that. Make sure your stitch bottoms are always at the bottom of your needle, and you are going to take the needle in your other hand and slip it right under, and you take your yarn and you go out and back in halfway, okay, and then down onto the yarn, slide it, and pull it off. Now you have a new stitch. So then we're going to do it again. You're going to do that till your row is complete. A lot of people actually will count each time they complete a row, just to make sure that they are having the exact amount of stitch. Now if you become a pro like me, you don't do that. You'll just know if something's missing. However, if you do make a mistake, I'm going to show you real easy how to undo it. To undo it, most people will just go like this, and you just pull it, and it disappears. Just like so. Now there are many different kinds of projects, like I said, that you can do, but typically a dishcloth can be done in 30 minutes, a scarf can be done in an hour, and a blanket knitted with only your arms with a big 10-pound ball of yarn, those can be done in about 4 hours.